Curry pulls up, and from way downtown, Steph Curry hits a one from way out, and he takes a golf swing like he was hitting a drive. And Doc Rivers wants time. 10 straight points for number 30.
Now back to Willard and Dibs. Take it away, Mark.
Yeah, I don't get lost in all the other stuff that happened last night, but remember when Steph Curry was tired and in a slump?
Yeah, he was.
Not anymore.
He was definitely tired. Slump is... a slump is always weird when you're talking about the greatest to ever do it.
Well,
is he not allowed to have a few games where he struggles?
Of course he is.
Right.
My point is that like every time it happens, have you noticed this push-pull with Steph? It's oh my God. He's still playing at the height of his powers at age 35. He'll have 3 bad games, and it's like, well, he's aging.
Yeah. Almost 36.
Well, or did he just kind of have a little bit of an off week when he spent time on a tarmac in a different country? I mean, this all happened just last week. So
right. 4 games and 6 nights
right.
in 4 cities and 2 countries, including one quick turnaround on a tarmac and a matinee where the whole team got blown away.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's tired and he's slumping. Okay.
And he did miss a free throw last night, which was unacceptable.
Inexcusable.
By the way.
Is he down below 90 yet? I'll check. You're going to hit me with a by the way. I don't want to distract you.
I was going to hit you with a by the way, and I have to do that when we're about to talk
Curry
about
at 92%.
No, 92%.
Second on the team.
Better than last year.
Actually, third on the team.
Who the hell's better than that?
Guy Santos.
Well, that's
93.3.
How many tries? 7?
Actually, 90. He'd have to have more than that.
I know.
Klay Thompson.
Is Klay better than that this year?
Guy is from the foul line, 14 of 15. Put some respect on that man's name.
I definitely will. Ridiculous.
Steph has missed 22 free throws this year.
Steph is a full percentage point ahead of his career average. So
there you go.
There's that. Oh my gosh, he's still at the height of his powers. Steph will be able to hit 3 free throws when he's 95. When he's 92%, he'll still be able to do it.
He's so good, he'll be able to shoot them with his mind by then. In 55 years, he'll just close his eyes and will the ball to the hoop.
I love that you say 55 years. With all this AI, it might be next year.
Seriously. Well, when he's 90, it'll be 55 years.
Is that Steph or is that a hologram out there?
Exactly.
What is that? No, here's what I was going to say, and I have to ramp up to it. I have to kind of ease my way into it when I'm talking to Dan Dibley.
Ramp it up.
Well,
if this has to do with the refs, then I'm not here for it.
It sure does.
If this has to do with the viral clip of him getting nudged and going to the floor, then I may just go home early.
No, it's not about any viral
That's
clip.
one that almost ruined my night last night.
Why?
Because he got nudged, and because he was nudged, and it's Steph, now we're all going to be outraged. And how do you not call that? He got nudged. A nudge does not necessarily mean it's a foul. If they called every nudge, there would be no basketball. But go ahead.
No.
You're going to rip the refs after a night like last night.
I don't even know to be honest with you, I don't even know the viral clip that you're talking about. I didn't do any viral clips last night. I watched the game and then graded papers and went to bed.
Good.
So no viral clips. I just think that this show, our conversations, have never really gone here. And so, oddly, I don't know what you think about this. What is your thought on the idea of Steph doesn't get the calls that the other stars get? What's your thought?
I think there's something to that.
Why?
Why is there something to that?
No.
Why do I think that, or why doesn't he?
If you think there's something to it, then quite frankly, there's something to it. Because you would be the last human being on planet Earth that would admit there's something to that. So if you think that, I'm going to buy your premise, and then I'm going to ask you why. Why the hell? Why would it be that way?
Well,
seems counterintuitive to me.
It does, but I'm going to explain it as far as what I see with my third eye, which is my official's eye.
Oh, how can we get rid of that?
You can't. Although I'm done for the season.
I'm going to punch you in the third eye.
What's going on here?
Totally, Grandy. I think that when it comes to Steph Curry driving to the hoop, because that's when he's going to get the majority of his fouls.
You would think, yes.
When he goes to the basket, a lot of times he is shying away from contact because he's a little bit smaller.
He has to.
And he has to.
Yeah.
And so the contact that he gets at the basket is not as obvious as the contact of, and I'll just say LeBron James as an example, not a great example because he gets more foul calls than anyone, maybe since Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. James Harden's a good example.
Yep.
When James Harden goes to the basket, he's going to be involved in much more contact. I don't think that Steph Curry, and I don't blame him for this, the way he goes about scoring inside the key and near the basket, he uses his sleight of hand and his quickness, so the contact that he gets is not as egregious or as violent looking as other players.
You know what's odd about that?
I'm not trying to make this as an excuse. This is just kind of what I see as an official.
I think you're probably spot on. What's counterintuitive for me, though, with that is, especially as someone who refs youth games.
Right.
Don't you, and we talk about how refs get caught up. Like, why do home teams get calls? Because refs are caught up in the emotion of the arena because they're human beings.
Right.
Well, if you're a human being, wouldn't you protect the tiny little star who, when he gets touched, flies into the second row versus LeBron James? LeBron James, I would argue, probably could get whacked across the shoulder by a 300-pound man and barely even feel it. It's one of the reasons that I have such a visceral reaction to flopping in the NBA. And Michael Thompson, Clay's dad, was the one who told me this. He goes, you don't want to know how you know that it's flopping? He goes, look at these men. Do you know what it takes to knock LeBron James to the floor? A hurricane would have a hard time doing it. Yet he's always on the floor. It's like, dude, stop it. Listen, we all watched Shaq. Bodies are flying off of this man simply because he breathed on them. Because he's the most gargantuan human being who has ever walked the earth. And so he would get called for offensive fouls when he wasn't doing anything other than just, moving. It feels to me like it should be the other way around. And maybe that's why. And I'm not asking for it to be. I don't want Steph to get more calls than the next guy. But when you've got the smallest superstar in the league, I would think he would get more calls, not less.
Well, here's the other piece of it. And I'm going to say this with a little bit of reluctance because I don't like this reality in my game. But the squeaky wheel does get the grease. And Steph Curry does not campaign for calls. And I'm looking at the list of free throw attempts. Do you know where he ranks? Not in per game, in raw FTAs.
Oh, for the league this year?
For the league.
Total
free throw attempts.
Oh, God.
Just ballpark it. We don't need game show music.
Yeah.
It speaks to your point, and I'm going to give you some examples
I would bet he's not in the top 30.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. 35th.
Yeah.
He's 35th. And here are some players who are ahead of him. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay.
He's a little bit different because he does attack.
Yep.
He's number 2 in the association. Trae Young, very similar to Steph. He's 9th in free throw attempts.
See, that's crazy to me.
Well, and also, though, if you think about Trae Young, what does he do that Steph doesn't? It's the same thing that my 18-month-old does.
Whine.
Exactly. Whine and cry.
Steph will get mad.
He will not.
Steph has been getting mad.
But he doesn't do it
He gets over it. He gets over it in a second and a half.
De'Aaron Fox is 18th in free throw attempts.
De'Aaron goes to the hole more.
He goes to the hole more. You've got Damian Lillard, who is 6th.
Okay, that's crazy.
Now, he goes to the hole a little bit more than Steph.
He does.
But he's 6th, Mark,
in
the association.
I don't even know if I buy your that premise. I don't think Damian Lillard goes to the hole. Steph goes to the hole quite a bit. That's part of why it's such a head scratcher.
Yeah, the one thing that...
I don't watch as much Lillard.
Right.
But last night, Lillard settled for a lot of threes.
The one thing that does hurt Steph in this discussion is that he is number 1 in the league by far in three-point attempts. Okay. He shot 701 threes. So these other guys, like Dame, has shot 494. So that means 205 other shots for Dame were either going to the basket or inside the three-point line. So I do think that hurts Steph's case because if you drive to the hoop a lot, you're going to get the benefit of more doubt.
No doubt.
On those calls where there's contact.
No doubt. And I mean, Dame does try to finish in a different way than Steph. He's a little bit of a bigger body than Steph. And quite frankly, Steph finishes in an odd way because no one else has his skill set. Like his finishing, his teardrops, his, as you said, sleight of hand, his knowing kind of where he can get the shot off when he's going against somebody who might be literally a foot taller than him.
Right.
Is second to none.
Really quick, Damian Lillard, 12.6 drives per game. Stephen Curry, 8.7.
Okay. 4 more drives per game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you extrapolate that on free throws, that's about, he's shooting 150 more free throws. So that's just about, 2 drives per game.
It's 2.5.
Right.
Yeah. More free throws per game.
Right. Which means on, 1 or 2 of those drives, you're getting the foul call that Steph then doesn't get.
Dame only shot six non-3-pointers last night. Maybe that's not the greatest of examples.